He's one of the country's best-selling musicians with 22 #1 hits, selling over 100 million records worldwide. Kenny Rogers is back with a collection of inspirational spiritual classics. Kenny Rogers joins us live from Atlanta this morning to tell us more about The Love of God. Kenny, I have to tell you, my family loved it.
You know, it's an interesting album because all my life I've done, when I do ballads, love songs, I try to do songs that every man would like to say and every woman would like to hear. And then I have another category, which is like The Gambler and Coward of the County and Daytime Friends. So this is just an opportunity to do a different type of music. It's music I was raised with because my mother was very spiritual, and a chance to sing songs that I normally wouldn't get a chance to.
Well, I love what you said. I love what you said about your mom, how she sang In the Sweet By and By on the radio. She did her ironing, and that you added she was a terrible singer.
Oh, she was the worst I've ever heard, but she loved to sing, and God bless her for that, because she really instilled that in me. All my brothers and sisters sing, but, I'm the only one that chose to take this dangerous route of doing it for a living.
I also love when you talked about once a month that your family would load your dad's pickup truck with the instruments and go to the porch and to play gospel music all day long. How cool was that?
Well, my dad played fiddle, and he had 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and played an instrument. And so they would go to my grandfather's house in Apple Springs, Texas, and roll the organ, believe it or not, out on the front porch.
Oh, my goodness.
And they'd all sit around and they'd play I'll Fly Away, and all the cousins and kids would come there for that. So it was kind of a nice gathering for the family, and a chance to, again, be exposed to your family doing this music.
Well, and I love, too, that way you explained your personal connection to each song, like your first church choir group sang Amazing Grace together.
Right, yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's a great song, and it has a lot to say. I just heard an interesting story about that song, that it was written by a guy who was not really religious, and he was on a ship that was literally going down. And while he thought he was going to die, and he wrote Amazing Grace. And it just puts a whole different twist on the song.
Well, at the very end of what you write about on the album, it says it's been both a musical and religious awakening for me. Tell me about that.
Well, I've never been particularly religious. I've always been very spiritual, but I did find myself in the middle of this album feeling incredibly uplifted. I saw a statement the other day that was interesting about a guy who wasn't sure. People were saying, is there a God? He says, I don't know, but I've chosen to live life as if there is a God. If I find out there's not one, that's one thing, rather than choose to live it as if there's not one and find out there is.
I
thought it was an interesting approach.
Now, how's your family doing?
Oh, they're doing great. My boys I have identical twin boys that are 6 years old.
Oh.
So say a prayer for me. But they're wonderful kids. They're 6-year-old, and that brings its own set of problems and personalities with it.
Absolutely.
But I just love it. And my wife is Mother of the Year as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Kenny, we really enjoyed it. My family listened to it over the weekend. The album is called The Love of God. It's available at Cracker Barrel. That's where you can pick it up. Thank you, Kenny, so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, we turn out